The diction. If you look at the history up until today, you find that some of the greatest singers come from Italy. Why do you think that is? It's not because of the olive oil, the dolce vita, it's because of the language and the way they speak. If you hear an Italian speak, you hear that they speak with very clean vowels. They say a, e, I, o, u. They don't have schwas like an English-speaking person. They don't say wa, they say ah. And an English-speaking person says wa sometimes in their word. So they really have the advantage of, since they're a child, to speak with the proper and the clean vowels. And those vowels, they sit in here. You can try this by pinching your nose, and then you speak the vowels on the right and left side right here. Try this. A, E, I, O, U. In case you're doing or something else, then pause this video and try this. It's very important that this is correct because this is the foundation of your singing and also of the vocalese. So do it again. A, E, I, O, U. Now, when you pronunciate those vowels, the tongue does a very specific thing and it touches on a very specific place. Let's go through all 5 of them, because when you do the vocalese, you'll remember what the tongue, hopefully you'll remember what the tongue does and where it touches. Let's start with the A. What does your tongue do when you pronunciate the A? Do you feel that? A. The tongue is lifted a little bit in the back. I'm exaggerating now so you can see. It's lifted a little bit, so it's not flat. It's not O, it's A. Do you feel that lift? Now let's go for the E. Where does your tongue touch when you say E? Do you feel that? E. It touches the back molars up here. E, and it curves. E. Now let's go for the E. What does your tongue do? E. Do you feel that the sides of the tongue are touching the upper teeth up here? E. And it's more flat than A. With A, it's more curved. A and E. And now let's go for the O. What is your tongue doing? O. Do you feel that it's out of the way? O. And now we go for the U. Where does the tongue touch when you say U? Do you feel that the U is a little further back? U. It's so important that you train to say the 5 vowels correctly. First of all, in the right position. A, E, I, O, U. And that when you do this, you focus on what the tongue is doing. A, little curved. E, little curved in the front. I, flat and touching. O, out of the way. U, also out of the way, but a little bit further back. Pause this video and practice those 5 vowels. Now let's go on to the mutated vowels. And I know that English-speaking people don't use those mutated vowels, but I tell you, it is such a good training for your tongue, for your pronunciation, for the flexibility of your voice to train those. So let's start with the E, which is an A with the 2 dots on top. What is your tongue doing when you say E? E. Do you feel the difference between E and A? E, A. Let's go on to the next one, which is an Ö. What is an Ö? An Ö is a O with the 2 dots. Ö. Do you feel the difference between O and Ö? Do you feel that the tongue, if it does the right thing, you can pronunciate that thing. And let's go now for the U, which is not an U, which is an U. It's an U with the 2 dots on top. U. And you also feel and see that you need the lips to pronunciate those. U, E, E. We're doing vocalises with the mutated vowels, and they're a little bit of a challenge, but you can do this, and they're so good for you. Now let's talk about the second reason why Italians speak and sing correctly. It's because they speak and sing through the consonants. For instance, if they say the German word jetzt, which means now, they don't say jetzt, they say jetzt. And you hear very clearly when you hear a singer like Pavarotti who sings at the end of a phrase, he pronunciates the last consonant, and every consonant he pronunciates and really sings through it. We are doing in the vocal exercises, we are doing exercise for the consonants, and there pay attention that you really sing and say those consonants. I can give you a vocalise right now so you know how to apply this. For instance, if I go something very simple, caro mio ben. If you say this, you say caro mio ben. But now really focus on saying and singing through those consonants. Let's speak it first. Caro mio ben. Do you feel that pull from your support system when you do this? Caro mio ben. Now let's put the notes with it. Caro mio ben, bene. Caro mio ben, bene. Instead of bene. Do you feel the difference? There is a different support when you do this as well. So the best thing for you to do is to listen to Italian speak. You can watch a movie in Italian or part of a movie. You can watch an interview with an an Italian speaking person, but just really listen to that language because it's going to help you to sing better. The schwa. What is a schwa? A schwa is a vowel that we use when we cannot pronunciate the text and the vowels very well because it's too high. And there we go into an a very neutral vowel, because if we pronunciate or we try to pronunciate too much in a certain range, especially after the passaggio, after that bridge, which you have vocalise for that, if you try to pronunciate too much, then you're going to have a very squeaky sound. You're going to tighten up. It's going to feel really uncomfortable, and you're actually not better understood. Now, most of the songs, especially in the pop and the rock, they are in the middle and the lower range, but even some of those have texts that go higher. Now, let me give you an example. If you go down here, you sing In the Arms of an Angel. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here. Okay, you can pronunciate down there, but if you do it higher, like up here, I'm going through the passaggio now, and then I change into a schwa. Let me show you. Instead of you cannot do a clean ah, so you go into that schwa vowel. And when you sing the vocalise and it's too high for you to pronunciate a clean a, clean e, o or u, you go into that ah, ah. Does that make sense? Let's go back to the diction and the pronunciation. Very often a singer over-pronunciate the words because they try to deliver the text and then they do a lot with their mouth and tongue, and they move around, kind of like chewing gum. And then there are the kind of singers who do not pronunciate very well. And I can tell you that both of those are not good, because first was the lyrics and then was the music. And if you look at the music history, then you find that even in the time of Monteverdi, which was really 16th century, people used to gather in homes with the composer, and they used to have parties as we know a party today, but they used to have first the spoken text and then they added the melody, and the people really understood what they were saying. Otherwise they would have been bored, because there was no entertainment, not much at this time in this century. And so it's important that you understand the text, but don't over or under pronunciate. Now, what really will help you with your pronunciation is if you remember the consonants, if you sing through the consonants and really support those consonants. And we have vocalises for those. And another thing that helps is if you keep your jaw hanging loose, so you don't involve it, because when we speak, we involve the jaw and we don't even think about it, but it moves around. But when we sing, we should keep this one just very calm. Kind of like that. But of course not pronunciate like, can't help falling in love with you. You know, that also not. But then also not the other way around. Can't help falling in love with you. This is not, if you do this, you're not understood better. Actually, the less you do, the more you're understood. Now that you know what your tongue is doing on the vowels, also on the mutated vowels, which helps you for the schwa, you should have this very loose and not even think about getting this involved. And you should use your lips for pronunciation. We're going to do an example here. If you do, wise man say, then you can sing a little more through the consonants, and then you can use the lips a little more. Wise man say. Do you feel the difference? Instead of doing wise man say, wise man say. You should feel the line when you do this. You should feel your support, and you're actually not moving this much, this jaw, but the tongue does the right thing.